today is a big day. Today is a special day. Today is both the summer solstice and it's Father's Day. And, well, actually, there's more than that. It's also the new moon, and it is the, I guess there was an eclipse. It wasn't visible to us. It was visible on another part of the world because it was before the sun rose here. But it was a solar eclipse that happened today, too. So we've got a lot of energy, a lot of planetary shifting, as well as really personal connection to those beloved fathers that are part of our life. And so, anyway, today's practice, given that it's the solstice, is about the balance between the light and dark. Because the solstice, both the winter solstice as well as the summer solstice, is the day where where we've reached that tipping point, where there's actually a place where the light is at its brightest, longest place, right? So we've got a lot of that in what they would call in Eastern medicine, they would call it the Yang energy. The fiery light energy is present. So I wanted to talk a little bit about yin and yang. Excuse me. Yin in the Eastern philosophy represents the yielding. Here, I'll kind of model it with my left hand. The yielding, open, receptive, the willingness to take in, right? And then there's the yang. And the yang energy is that dynamic, outward, expressive energy. And that's actually what's here today. We're here in that most dynamic, expressive energy. And those two energies need to come into a place of balance. Even when we're yang energy or yang energy is ever more prevalent right now. So we are in that place of being able to find that balance, right? So I wanted to introduce the notion of both. Sorry, I have a little tickle in my throat. I'm going to reach and get my tea here. I saw that yang energy coming up out of me, that fiery energy. Excuse me. Let's see if I can get it together here. Gravelly breath. So I'm finding both the will, as in that dynamic, as well as the willing, the willingness, the will and willingness, and the balance between that yin and yang, or yin and yang energy wants to come into our yoga practice today. So, during times of eclipse, there is this symbolic energy of shadow, or those things that have been hidden or unseen are starting to become opened to our awareness. And this new moon is a particularly powerful time to set an intention to help to work through and clear some of those energies that have been surfacing, right? So today I thought I'd introduce something that I personally have to deal with, and I'm sure that many of you have to deal with. And I wanted to do two different breath work, or two different breathing exercises. One, I'm calling it the mask breath. Yes, many of us are having to wear masks. Yep, I'm wearing one as I'm giving massage, and it's a little bit weird to breathe with a mask on. It's weird to even talk with a mask on. It's just one layer between. But it's also, I found this to be true, that people are expressing that they're having a difficult time breathing with their masks on. So I wanted to offer a calming kind of breath that we can do when we're wearing a mask, as well as, you know me in aromatherapy, I wanted to just suggest that you use maybe a drop of lavender oil inside of your mask. And it's a calming balancing oil that you can kind of breathe it in like you are breathing in with your gardenia breath or whatever flower breath that you did with our last week's kind of breath work. So I'm going to be introducing, not necessarily wearing a mask, but introducing, I'm calling it the calming, palming kind of breath, okay? So I'm going to put that to this side for now, but hopefully that's useful information. And we're going to introduce this mask breath, actually, and I'm going to do it like this. So if you have lavender oil available to you, you may want to bring that out into your practice. But you can do a little pranayama by bringing your palms to your face. And as if you had a mask on, breathing into that sweet, calming Palmar masking breath. So what I'm doing here, I'm just going to bring my hands down so I can speak to you. You can create either a gentle kind of cup shape with your hands, and then you can place your fingertips onto that top of the nose, just where that little band might rest with a mask, and then just pressing gently on the tops of the nostrils, and you're actually stimulating the sinus area with your fingertips. And then calmly palming around your face, just gently cupping maybe around your chin, depending on how your face fits with your hands. And then bringing yourself into Ujjayi breath. Now, Ujjayi breath is that gentle, slow breath through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Lips are gently closed, so you're not tightly holding any part of your face. It's just a gentle. And with this, I'd like for you, especially when you are kind of doing the masking, that you feel a sense of the space where you can access the breath. There's an interesting thing that we can do with our minds. We can either focus on what's obstructing the breath, or we can focus on where the space is for the breath. So see if you can find, as you're breathing, the spaces of the space around, the spaces through the masking that's present, so that you're able to find where the breath can come and then where the breath can exit. Slow, soft breath. Just try it yourself. Breathing in. We're going to do 5 repetitions. Okay? So 1. Slowing the breath down and finding your way down into the belly center. Letting yourself drop down and feel that sense of dropping down and into your sits bones. Maybe you have the oil, and so you're smelling the oil. And maybe it's the time for you to become more aware of what wants to be discovered in you today. What is your new moon intention? What is your celebration of the power of the solstice energy? And then bringing your hands down, and let's come down, hands onto your belly center. And just feel the shifts already. So the masking can actually be a restorative breath, and we're going to play with it that way in the practice today. The second breath I'd like to introduce you to is that solstice fiery breath. Celebrating that solar energy that is with us today in its fullest, brightest, longest form. So this is called Kapalabhati breath, or fire breath. And it's a breath that a lot of you are familiar with because you've taken classes with me before. But remember, it's the one that is a forceful exhalation through the nose. So it's in and out through the nose, but the focus is on the exhale, on that outward dynamic, expressive part of the breath. So it looks like this. And I have my Kleenex here, just as a reminder that it may be that you're going to need to empty your nostrils before this breath, because it is a forceful expression. Okay, so let yourself find a tissue if you need it, and join me again. So forceful exhalation. I'm just going to I'll actually turn this way so you can see. So I have my hands on my belly, and I'm going to draw my navel toward my spine with each exhale. So you can see how I'm not using my hands to actually push my belly back, but I'm just having my hands be there to be supportive of the focus and the awareness of that movement and that exhale forcefully, expelling all of it, okay? Now, if that's the rhythm that feels like it suits you, then you can stay there. Or, I like to call it the bunny breath, because you ever seen a little bunny? Bunny breathes really fast, and it looks kind of like this. Yeah. So, this is also called the skull shining breath. And it helps to energize us. It activates us. It helps us to wake up. And on the solar solstice day, it's time to wake up. Okay, so let's bring our awareness to the belly. We'll start slow. And now, if you want to stay at that tempo, that's fine. And if you want to join me a little bit faster, we'll go a little faster. And then now just come back to your slow diaphragmatic breath, 3-compartment breath, belly, chest, and upper ribs. If you want to, you can come up into your Palmar, calmer, mask breath. And just feel the difference in your body now. All right, so we're going to slide maybe you're sitting on a bolster, maybe you're sitting on a chair, maybe you're sitting on a ball or a blanket. Just letting yourself shift gears. We're going to come up on all fours. And we're going to start out with cat and cow. So curl your toes under here. I'll do it this way. Curl your toes under so you're getting a nice stretch on the bottoms of your feet. And we're going to curl the tailbone under, and then that eventually getting the chin to the chest into that arched back of that Halloween cat. And then we're going to inhale, lifting the tailbone up, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting the spine into that saggy back cow. And just going back and forth. We're just warming up the spine right now, letting things start to open up. Nice to just let yourself slowly become attentive to all the details of the spine. And then we're going to rock from side to side. So lifting one hip up and the shoulder toward that hip and gazing over that side. And then going to the other side and back and forth. Just feeling that side seam starting to warm up, the hips starting to warm up. Maybe you're even feeling it into your toes. Maybe you're feeling it into your wrists. Let yourself become aware of all that is being activated in your body right now. And then walk the hands out a little bit farther. And then we're going to scoop back and then let the elbows come down. And then slide forward, lifting up, hips back, elbows down, forearms sliding forward. And just feeling that movement through the spine, through the pelvis, through the shoulder girdle. You're doing a nice warm up, gentle warm up for the shoulders, the hips. And then we're going to reverse that movement. So you're going to come forward, kind of like you're pouncing forward, and then see if you can let the elbows drop back and down. And then hips back. So forward, elbows drop back and down toward the ribs, and hips back. As you, instead of bringing the elbows out, bring the elbows back and down, and what that does is it really stretches and starts to warm up the rotator cuff, and we want to make sure our shoulders have lots of lubrication and movement. Helps add more lube into those joints. Okay, and then from here, we're going to add that snaky spine, that spiraling snaky spine warm up. So here you let go. Think of nothing but just being with your spine. Let that slinky move through your shoulders, your hips, your knees, even your toes, and your elbows sliding through, and feeling a connection between the crown of the head and the tailbone. That spine moves all the way through its range of motion. You may want to rotate and look up over one shoulder or the other. Start to jazz it up a little bit. Find your own inner solar energy here. Okay, and then from here, we're going to introduce, instead of coming back and down, I want to introduce from here the Kapalabhati on all fours. So, Kapalabhati, the breath, the fire breath. We're going to draw the navel in with each exhale. And you can also speed it up. If not, if that doesn't feel right to you, you can keep on doing it slowly or just go back to diaphragmatic breath, whatever's right for you, if we're getting a little too fiery for you too quickly. All right, now from here, let's go back to child's pose. And go ahead and flatten the tops of your feet down onto the mat. Shift your weight back, sinking hips toward the heels, and then bring the arms down to your sides, extending out a little bit farther, maybe forehead down to the floor. And as your forehead rests on the floor, feel how it's yet another form of the mask breath. That there's that gentle pressure onto the forehead and onto the sinuses. Or you may even bring your hands, especially if they smell particularly delicious right now, you may want to bring your hands so that they're there to rest on.
even shifting the weight forward so that you can place your hands onto your face or mask. Just wanted to bring awareness that forward, face down onto the mat creates that same sort of practice opportunity to find a space for the breath and where it can be found. Okay? All right, now rolling back up. And then let's come up onto all fours. Press the hips back up into downward dog. And we're gonna walk the dog here. Letting one heel drop, bend the other knee, bend, and you can hear I'm already snap, crackle, popping here. So I bet you are too. Find your width of the hands so that your fingertips are right at the edge, or your pinky fingertips are right at the edge of the mat. And the insides of your elbows or the eyes of the elbows are either facing each other or slightly forward, which you can see, actually, maybe you can see, I can certainly feel it. As I turn my elbows forward, my shoulders start to rest a little bit more underneath my torso. Okay, and then lift through the heels, pressing back and down, feeling that stretch through the back of the hamstrings, the back of the calves, the back of the heels. And then lift up both heels. Lift up and see if you can bring your ears parallel with the insides of your elbows. And lift that tail up even higher if you can. And press into the hands. Feel that dynamic expression of power and energy moving through you and down into the earth. And then let both heels drop back and down. So as you let both heels drop back and down, see if you can sink to your deepest down beginning of the class, downward dog. Okay? And then slowly, bending the knees, walk yourself forward. Walk your hands to your feet, feet to hands. And then roll up. Rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. And once you're up, just pause. Just feel the difference in your body already. And I've spoken to a number of you throughout that have been taking these classes, and just so you know, like that right there, that could be a way to start your day. Meaning that you could press pause, and if you have a desire to create even more or a longer practice, you can keep on going with me, okay? And the other option is to go to the end and just do the shavasana practice with me. So know that you can kind of return to this and utilize each one of these videos as a 20-minute practice, as a 90-minute practice, as a 10-minute practice, okay? Or an hour, or 45, or whatever it is that you want to choose to do. Okay, so from here, a little more of a standing warm-up. Just wanted to introduce, remember how we had that movement that was a shifting, stepping forward, pressing back, stepping forward, pressing back, and I called it the around the clock. Yeah? Okay. So I think we did it maybe the first class of this series. Anyway, I want to invite you to practice that with me, but this time I really want you to feel the difference between the quality of yielding and then the explosive, expressive yang energy. So there's the soft yin, and the yang is that extending. Soft yin, extend. Soft yin, extend. Soft yin, extend. Soft yin, extend. And let yourself play with this. Play around the clock in your own dynamic dance. Feeling that sense of opening through the legs in all those different angles. As you come to different angles, it calls upon the muscles to activate in different ways. And so you start to feel a sense of dancing, kind of playing. Playing, we'll call this dance around the clock. Right? So you're feeling that sense of sinking and stretching, sinking and maybe there's a sense of joy that can come through this as you let that explosive kind of blossoming energy that is happening outside right now. Everything is blooming. Everything is expressing itself. Summer is here. We are now in the summer space. Okay, so feeling that, and now we're going to press through the legs into a wide span. So you feel that sense of expression down and out. And then breathing the arms up and out. Feel that extending out into the world. And then coming back down again. So we're going to inhale. Arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down. And with this wide stance, I want you to feel that sense of openness and receptivity. And also feeling that dynamic, sunny self that you are as you exhale down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, shining your light in the world. Exhaling down. Okay, and then toe heel your feet together. And now we're going to do the breath of joy. Remember that one? This is the one where we inhale 3 times, arms up, and then wide, and then up overhead. And then we have a forceful exhalation with a sound as you slide the arms down on either side and back behind you into a standing squat. Okay? So it looks like this. 3 more times. 2 more times. Last time, and just hang down there. Hang down here. Yeah, let yourself feel that sense of softness in the knees and shift weight from side to side. And then letting yourself roll up slowly. And feeling the difference in your body now. And then let's just do what I'm calling the willow breath. The willow warm up. And you're just swaying from side to side, letting yourself stretch and explore like the wind is blowing your branches of your arms from side to side, letting yourself be caught by the wind, maybe flowing to one side or the other, and you're traveling slowly, fluidly. This is more of a yin kind of warming up, a slow fluid movement. Just letting yourself express, but through a sense of slow stretching. Side to side, up and down, rotating, kind of like that snaky spine but standing. Okay? There you go. Slowing down, and then come to center. And then for contrast purposes, let's do the 2-year-old grounding exercise. Okay, so we start by just letting our heels bounce and letting our shoulders be just hanging. And then let your hips relax and let your jaw relax and let all of you relax. relax, and you get to make a sound where you get to go, ah. And maybe there's a part of you that really needs to express. Maybe there's a part of you that really needs to maybe even have a bit of a temper tantrum, as a 2-year-old can do. So letting yourself express it out. Ah! Maybe there's part of you that has had some solar energy that wants to just, the heat wants to express itself. Yeah, letting that move through you. Giving yourself permission, like a 2-year-old gives itself, him, herself, permission to let it out. Yeah. Okay. Feeling that in your body. Now we can move into a couple of power poses. Okay, the power pose of victory, which we've done before. Feet parallel, hip distance apart, maybe a little bit broader. Bringing your arms up overhead into that V victory pose. Feeling the expanse and the openness of the whole front body as you extend through those fingertips, dynamically expressing upward, pressing through, and feeling also that sense of ground, that sense of pressing down into the feet. And maybe even pressing out into the thighs, into the legs, so you feel that sense of, you are like a V victory pose. Now with this also is the experience of being victorious. Feeling that heroic accomplishment and satisfaction of the win. The winning of your practice. That you are living life full on, heroically, victoriously. Yes. Feeling that, lifting yourself up into that, and then bringing the hands down. Okay, next we're going to turn the feet out slightly. And then we're going to press the arms. Actually, let's start out by stretching through the hands. And just feel that stretch through the shoulders, through the palms of the hands. And bring the arms up overhead. And feeling that stretch through the shoulders, up through the crown of the head. And then bring the arms down. And then interlace your fingers the other way. Press down. Lifting up and stretching through the shoulders here. Before we moved into Happy Buddha, I thought that maybe some of us needed to stretch out the palms of our hands a little bit more. A lot of us have been on the computer and doing a lot of detailed kind of precision movements through our hands, and things can get a little bogged up in there. All right, so let's bring that down. Okay, you'll know what I mean in a short moment, if those of you who don't know what Happy Buddha is. All right, now we're going to bring the arms up. And as you bring the arms up, press through the palms. Fingertips kind of press toward each other as you lift up, extending the arms and flexing at the wrists. So you're feeling that opening of the flexors of the forearms as well as the hands and the fingers. And then this is called the Happy Buddha pose. So the Happy Buddha, the Happy Buddha is the one that's laughing, and he has the big belly. So feeling that sense of your feet are turned out, so you're open through here, you're open through your belly, you're open with that sense of joy and laughter and expression with Happy Buddha arms, and you're lifting your head up with that sense of yes, and as well as the fun, the ridiculousness, the whimsy, the sense of self that is in the levity of it all. And then bringing the hands down. Now here we're going to bring the feet out even farther, but parallel. Hands come up onto kind of fists, power fists, onto your hips. And this is the posture that I call Wonder Woman, or you can call it Superman, same sort of thing. Imagine you're wearing that cape, and you've got that sense of openness through the chest because of it. And your elbows find their way just behind you, so that there's even more of an encouragement of the opening of the chest and rib cage. Press down and out onto the legs. So you're really not activating just the inner thigh, but activating the outer legs all the way out through the outsides of the feet. And then feel that sense of lift up, that magical kind of sense of lift up through the pelvic floor, so that there's this core lift that is your secret smile and secret power as you lift up all the way through, from pelvic floor up through the center of the body, all the way through the crown of the head. So you're feeling that sense of superhuman power and Wonder Woman, Superman power pose. Now, as you're holding this pose, I just wanted to go back to this idea of the mask. Because, a lot of those superheroes are actually wearing masks, right? So how do they exert their superpower kind of virtuosity, or virtuoso? Anyway, that kind of intense and magnified energy, and they're wearing masks. I wonder. I think they know how to find the energy that is available even when masked. Yeah, like us, into our power here. All right, now feeling that, and let that go. We can shake out the hands, maybe even shake out the feet, kick them out a little bit. In fact, actually, let's roll the ankles out, roll the right leg out, roll the right leg in, roll onto the top of the foot and down. Yeah, other side, rolling out, rolling in, and onto the top of the foot and down. Okay. And let's say hi to our knees too. Circle the knees around. And then to the other side or the other direction. And then press down into, see if you can splay your toes. Splay your toes, press them down. Press down into all four corners of the feet, into the heels, rolling yourself up. So hips are over your heels, shoulders over your hips. And just pause. Just pausing there. Noticing, maybe bringing your hands either to heart or even into mask. I find putting my hands, since I put the oil on my hands, it's all the more delicious, like smelling a flower by smelling my hands, right? So just coming back to center, noticing where you're at now. All right, from here we're going to get our ball, Gurdie ball, and place it between the thighs. Feet parallel, hip distance apart. We want to bring that squeeze up so it's even between the inner thighs on the front and on the back. Okay? So then, feeling that sense of pressing down into the standing legs, down into the feet, all four corners. Lifting up through the pelvic floor, so you feel that sense of elongation all the way through the spine, all the way up. And then we're going to bring our arms up into temple pose. So arms up overhead and interlacing fingers, index fingers pointing up. Now here we want to roll the shoulders back and down because there's a tendency for us to go like that. So roll the shoulders back and down, lengthening the back of the neck. And feel that sense of your own version of mountain. Drop into the heels. See if you can align with your back body. Maybe even feeling like you can lean into your back body as if there was a wall behind you and you get to lean back into it, opening up the front body even more. Lengthen down and lengthen up. So you're feeling that long spine, long body, long arms. Yes. And there's also the squeezing into the midline. So that ball there opportunity to keep that activated. So you feel that length, open, and connection to the core. Okay. Now from here, we're going to bring the arms over to the side into half moon. So with the breath, inhale and exhale over to your right side. As you come over to the right, see if you can really feel that dynamic stretch. But we want to just settle into its edge, just to the very edge of resistance, so that you can still breathe. You can still breathe into that stretch, so that each breath offers another level of elasticity, another level of elongation and opening through the whole left side. Breathing in, feel that extension, feel that expansion. Meet it with your fire. Meet it with that part of you that is jazzed, is sparked, is spiked, is psyched, is ready. Okay, and then come back to center. Pause for a moment in center just to feel the difference between the two sides. That's it for a breath cycle. And then the next breath, we're going to breathe in and over to the second side. So really slowly, and think of lengthening up and over rather than collapsing down and into the side. So think of hollowing it out through the left side of your body, lengthening the right side even more. Really being that slight arc of the crescent moon. Breathing into it. Breathing down into the floor, especially to the outside of the right foot, and out through the fingertips above your head. That's it. Finding the edge of resistance and finding that sense of elongation, elasticity, opening through the side seam of the body. And then with the next breath, let's come back to center. Right. And then bring the arms out to the sides. Rotate at the horizon and coming down. Hands touch the thighs. Just close your eyes for a moment. Just receive that in your body. Okay. Now extend the arms out straight in front of you, straight out of the shoulders, and then bend into the knees. As you bend into the knees, see if your knees can track directly forward. So your knees are going directly over your toes. So no knock-kneed or turnout here. Just bringing in that straight squat down. Slide down. Imagine that you're sliding down a wall, so your back is actually over, or your shoulders are over your hips. And your hips are really over your heels. Okay? So you're going to slide down as far as you can until you're basically, it's probably your ankles that will say, no, I can't go any farther. And that's just fine. Just slide there. You'll feel your quads. You'll feel your thigh muscles activated. Now, especially if you draw the knees together slightly, but bring the squeeze instead of from the knees. Think of squeezing in through the inner thighs, activating even the inner groin muscles as you're squeezing. So this is evenness of compression as opposed to a turning in or turning in. It's an evenness of compression that's going on with the thighs. All right, as you're doing that, you're probably feeling a heat rise. Because this is a power pose too. This is a power pose that activates our circulatory system. Our fire is starting to rise. So let's give it a little air. Let's bring our hands actually to our belly center and do a little fire breath while we're here. Okay, so it's or speed it up. All right, let's come up, lifting up, place your hands down onto your thighs, and just feel that in your body. Close your eyes, see if you can feel it in your head, because the Kapalabhati breath really is, it means to shine the skull. So you're really doing a cleansing breath for the brain, Which, boy oh boy, do we need that, huh? All of us. Okay, so we're going to do another standing squat. And this time we're going to balance on the balls of our feet. So instead of thinking of coming up, tippy toe, think of pressing down. Splay the toes. Press down into the balls of the feet. And then just as you shift the weight into the toes, lift the heels. As you lift the heels, bend your knees. As you bend your knees, lift the heels even more. As you do that, let's go ahead and bring our arms out in front of us to counter the movement. It helps. Now let your hips drop back a little bit more. We're going to do this just a little differently. As you drop the hips back, that's it. You can come down a little farther. Right, exactly. All right, so from here, again, splay toes. Press into the balls of the feet. Let your heels lift even farther. That's it. Keep the balance. You may use a visual focal point for yourself to keep your balance. Okay, now from here, we're going to bring the arms behind us. As you bring the arms behind you, extending back behind you, bow the head and neck as a counterweight forward. Still heels lifted, if you can, and feeling yourself shifting the weight forward. Hips drop back, bend into the knees a little bit more. This is called drinking bird. Feel the fire, feel the hips, strength. Feel your ground and your balance. Awesome. And then go ahead and drop the heels, extend the arms, and come back down to the thighs. Close your eyes, just feel that in your body. You called on some of that fire. Good for you. All right, let's let go of the ball to the side. And go ahead and step forward with your right foot. Long step forward. We're going to come into a version of warrior. So stepping the left foot back, see if your hips can still be square and your feet are actually walking in alignment with those hips so that you're not walking a plank, but you're walking more like within a sidewalk, right? Or your mat. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and bend into the front knee. As you bend into that right knee, stack the knee over the heel. Okay, as you do that, it may be that the back leg wants to turn out. See instead if you can turn that left hip forward and maybe even draw the right hip back a little bit slightly so that you can bend into that knee a little bit more. That's it. Now, see if you can place the back foot so that the ball of the foot is evenly splayed and pressed down into the floor. Lift the heel and extend the knee. Think about bringing that knee, I'll do it this way. Think about bringing that knee so that it can extend back and you shift the weight forward. Great. Now hands can either, so we want to square off the hips. My hips are just a little bit out. There we go. And then either bring the hands to prayer, or if your legs are already starting to complain, you can bring your hands down onto your thigh. Or if you want to really kind of amp things up even more into your fiery solstice practice, then extend the arms up overhead and then lift up out of the core, opening through the front body. Lift up through the heel, extend that leg back, sink into the front knee and heel, opening up and feel that brilliant warrior self emerge. Beautiful. And then bring the hands down on either side of the foot. We can shift that back leg farther back and shift that hip and dropping into the right leg even more as you stretch through even more through the front of that left hip. Feel the strength in the stretch. And then what we're going to do is either stay here or you can bring the right hand down next to the right foot and then lift the left arm up into a twist. Okay? And then bring that hand back down. Now another option here is to drop the back knee, drop the left knee, and then even come up
onto the knee, and raise the right arm up. Okay. And back down again. Lift the back knee. Step all the way forward. And roll yourself back up. Pause for a moment, just feeling that in your body. And then we're going to do the same thing to the second side. Okay? So stepping forward with the left foot. Back foot steps back. Bend into the front knee. Right the hips. Make sure that the feet are parallel, hip distance apart. Extend through the back leg, lifting the heel and lifting the back of the knee. I'm going to shift so that you can see it this way. So again, squaring off the hips, shifting the weight into the knee so the knee is directly over the ankle. Extend through the back leg so you really feel that dynamic stretch. And then, depending on what feels right for you, either hands at heart or hands overhead. And lifting up. You can either have temple position or arms at your sides or straight out of the shoulders. Feel that sense of lift and lengthening, sinking maybe a little bit deeper into the pose. Feel that warrior self, that sunny self, that shining light and brilliant being that you are. And then bringing the hands down on either side. Now you can scoot that back leg back even farther and shift into the front knee even more, still squaring, still knee over ankle. And then lifting up. And feel that stretch. And then coming back down. And now we're going to drop the knee, drop the back knee, shift the weight forward, and we can come up onto the elbow and reaching up. And then back down. Press back up into a lunge. And then draw that, whoop, I brought the mat with me. Draw that leg up. And roll up to stand again. Can you feel your heart beating? Can you feel your sense of fire activated in you? Good. Good. All right, we're going to activate that even more with star. So bringing the hands out, or bringing the legs out and the hands out into that shining star that you are. So out through the fingertips. Imagine that you do, and actually you do, you have a radiance. You have an electricness. You have a field of energy that is in you and through you and all around you. And let that inner light beam. Let it beam out through your toes. Let it beam out through your fingertips. Let it beam out through every pore of your skin, shining into the star. Shine the star that you are into the world. Yes, that's the dynamic energy. And then let yourself yield into the softness of the goddess. Yielding it into the knees, yielding into the elbows, until you become like a shape that is more like a goblet. The shape of the chalice, the shape of the Holy Grail, the shape of the Divine Mother incarnating, receiving energy from the heavens and bestowing it through the vehicle of the transmission of birth into the world. So feeling that sense. Now, details of this posture. Drop into the heels. Let the knees drop down and then think of opening up the inner thighs. Tailbone drops down. Feel the breath move into the belly and all through the chest in the three-dimensional breath. Arms are strong. Arms are extended out of the shoulders through the elbows and then up through the fingertips. Extend up through the crown and feel the strength of goddess. Okay?
into star. Extending through star, let your shoulders drop back and down, sliding down the ribs, opening up through and lengthening through the crown. That's it. All right, and now from here, we're going to soften into the knees again, but this time we're going to come down into sumo. So hands down onto the thighs. I like to widen this out just a little bit more, and just shift your weight from side to side. Shift the weight from side to side, feeling yourself softly open the inner thighs even more. So you're dropping down and shifting from side to side until all of a sudden you get to a point where, oh, your shoulders start to come up towards your ears. And this is one of the only times that I say, that's good. So let the shoulders come up towards the ears, just stretching as you deepen into the pelvic opening. All right, now we're going to use our breath with this. We're going to pulse with the breath into a lift and twist. So we're going to lift up with the inhale. Exhale, rotate and drop the right shoulder forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, left shoulder forward. Now notice each time I do this, we're going to continue with the breath. Each time I do this as I rotate, I'm pressing it out with the extended arm into that leg, deepening the inner thigh stretch. And letting the breath be my friend and guide and support with each movement. Inhaling it up. Exhaling, twisting. Inhaling up. Exhaling, twisting. Okay, this is the last time. This time you're going to sink down into the center. Sink down to the center. Oh my goodness, hello thighs, right? All right, press into the legs, extend the legs. Whoa, they might be wobbling. Walk the feet together. And just pause. Just feel the difference in your body now. All right, we're going down. We're going down to downward dog now. So let's walk those paws forward. I'm just turning to the side because it's easier for you to see me this way. So we're going to walk down into downward dog. Walk through downward dog. Walk the dog. Check your hand placement. Extension of the arms, rotation of the inner elbows, rotate and have your, your neck long. And then come into your full expression of downward dog. Letting both heels drop back and down, lengthen through the spine, all the way through your tailbone. And we're going to shift the weight forward again, and this time into plank. So shifting the weight forward, as you shift the weight forward, notice are your hands under your shoulders, because that's where we want them. Structurally aligned, we want the hands under the shoulders. And we want to have the shoulders and the hips in alignment, so you're a nice long plank. Kind of an angled plank, but still a plank. So feel that sense of length. Now, if it feels like your body's saying, oh, this is a little too much for my core, go ahead and let your knees drop. That's okay. If not, this is a great strengthening, warming, and core focused movement. Let yourself lengthen through the heels, lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the crown. Press down into your arms. Feel that power. And then drop the knees down. As you drop the knees down, let yourself start to slinky spine, snaky spine. Okay. And then go ahead and widen the knees out a little bit farther. Bring the toes together, the big toes together. And then shift back into child's pose. So you're going to shift back into child's pose, and as you do this, go ahead and place your forehead onto the floor. And come into your mask breath again, letting the hips drop back and down. All right, let's roll up again. And I'm going to face you again, and we're going to do something we haven't done in a little while.
We're gonna do what I call Julian. I named it after my cat because my cat taught me this one. Okay, so this is on all fours, and we start out by lifting your front left paw and your back right paw. Now already you're kind of going, whoa, this is unstable. That's part of the reason why we're doing it. So feeling that sense of the core engaged in this as you stretch, front left, back right. Okay, and then come back to center. Then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So lifting front right, back left. And back to center. Now when Julian the cat was doing this, he also had retractable claws. So we can just imagine that we have retractable claws. And so we're going to extend through our claws, extending through even farther. So you feel that sense of splay through the fingertips, out through the nails, out through the toes, out through their nails, and back to center. And to the other side, splay and extend your retractable claws. Okay, and back to center. All right, the other thing that, of course, he did was that he would extend his mouth and jaw and stretch his tongue out as he did this too. This is like he would get up after a nap. It's kind of like a downward dog version, but this is the cat version of it. So he'd go and down. And then go the other side. And down. Now, all of us have a bit of our fiery energy that wants to come through. So let this be a posture that can help you find your inner wildcat self that wants to just hiss about all that has been held inside of it. So let your own hissy kitty express his or her fire through you, okay? So take a deep breath in. And back. And back. One more time each side. And back. And back. All right, now let's just shift our weight back now into child's pose. This time, arms at your sides. Extend it down. Place your forehead, if you can, all the way down to the floor, and just breathe into the mask. Breathe into yourself. If you want to, you can bring your hands again, especially if they smell good, onto the face. Calming your face, calming and palming the face. And then rolling your shoulders back and down, coming back, sitting on your heels, and pause. Just feel that in your body. Letting out your hissy kitty self. All right, from here, fold the legs underneath you, behind you, and then extend them out in front of you. Let's bring the feet to mat width apart, and then go ahead and shift your weight back into your arms, bend through the elbows, and then just shift your weight side to side. So we're just going to open up the hips a little bit, dropping, windshield wiper, dropping them forward and down. Forward and down, just opening up through the hips. And then of course, as you're doing this, you're opening up through the shoulders. In fact, actually, you can let that be a focus too. Turn this way so you can see. So letting the shoulders also feel like they can start to open up into the back, into the elbows. So you're doing this, and then you can alternate with this. Surprisingly enough, you're also working your core as you do this, which we love, right? All right, back up. Okay, from here, we're gonna go into the sage, because all of us need a sage self to emerge right now. So again, I'll face to the front and extend the left leg, drawing the right knee to the chest. And just feel that sense of both sits bones resting down into the floor, extending through the left heel, drawing yourself up into kind of a log position for the arms as you lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the crown, open through the chest, and feel that sense of the sage pose. Strong, centered, square, willing to step forward into the world with power and steadiness. Yes. All right, releasing that, and then let's extend that leg down and draw the left knee to the chest. Go ahead and find both sits bones and press down into that left heel. Press out through the right, and then folding the arms, lifting as you kind of scoop into and through the knees. See if you can lift your upper body up, opening through the chest, pressing down through the heels, pressing down through the sits bones, squaring off the shoulders and lifting up through the head and neck. Feel that proud, that strong, that steady, that supported self. Yes. Now the sage knows how to harness the energy of that solar power of yang in a very balanced and wise, experienced way. So feel how you can harness that energy in yourself. Feel how you can be bright, how you can be intense, how you can be that fiery self that you are, and do it with wisdom, presence, with the sage qualities of presence. That's it. Yes. Feel it in your eyes right now. That's the other thing, that the eyes are a great channel for that fire energy. So feel that sense of the gaze of the sage. It's penetrating, but also receptive. It's healing through its fierceness. That's you. Yeah. Okay, let's release that and then bring both legs together and then both bottoms of the feet together as you let the knees drop out to the sides. We're going to fold forward into cobbler pose, and everybody's going to be doing this differently. So wherever it is that your cobbler pose allows you to bring your knees out to the side, let them drop out. You may want to press down on them, or you may want to shift your weight forward so that your hands are kind of supporting you as you allow the upper body to drop forward. Now, for those of you that have more flexibility, I'm liking the smelling my palms and doing this Palmar thing with my hands and masking. So I'm going to come all the way forward and place my hands over my face as I fold forward. So again, it's different for every one of you, but it could be that you're able to fold forward and hold on to the calming Palmar support as you allow yourself to fold forward into cobbler pose. All right, releasing that, rolling up, and then we're going to come back onto our backs. Okay, so I'm shifting over to the side. We're going to shift onto our backs. You can hold onto your knees and then just roll yourself down. Your heels can rest on the floor, knees bent, arms extended at your sides, and see if you can feel like that the heels are right where your fingertips would touch when your arms are extended. We're going to go up into bridge. So here, bridge pose, we lift the tailbone up and just vertebrae by vertebrae, lift or peel the body up off of the floor. And then roll back down again. Do this several times. We're just going to let your spine start to unwind in this different position in gravity. So you're lifting up the hips and letting yourself feel that strength of the back body as you press into the floor with your heels, and then lift the pelvis slightly up. So you're really getting that stretch through here, but you're also getting that strengthening into the hips and the back. And coming back down again. This next time, if you have it available to you in your flexibility in your shoulders and arms,
Then we're going to bring ourselves up and then interlace the fingers. Walk the arms and shoulders underneath you so you're opening up through the chest even more. Lengthen through the back of the neck, tucking the chin gently to the chest, and come into your full expression of bridge. Let the breath move down into the belly. Press into the heels. Lift the hips up even higher. Let the knees draw themselves out away from you to the opposite wall. And then let's come down. Walk the shoulders out. Release the hands. Let the hands support you as you roll the spine back down onto the floor. Draw the knees to your chest and just rock from side to side. As you rock from side to side, let this massage your lower back. Okay? And then hold on to the outsides of your feet. And let your knees bend and maybe bring the legs out wide, coming into happy baby pose. So letting yourself drift from side to side. Maybe extending the right leg, extending the left leg, feeling that sense of movement like a happy baby would. And lifting the tailbone up and dropping it back down again, feeling that sense of play with the spine and lower back. Alright, and then let's just bring the knees together and draw the knees to the chest again. Okay, from here, let's extend the leg that's closest to me, or you could just do this with me. Extend your left leg down, drawing the right knee to the chest. Hug that knee to the chest. And then draw the knee across the body, so you're feeling that deep spinal twist all the way through the hip, all the way through the side body, and then extend that right arm back behind you so you really feel that stretch all the way through the front of the shoulder. And I like to use my left hand to guide that right knee down, or even kind of drive it down slightly with a compression into the floor so that it raises the right shoulder, and now the right shoulder has this dance between the knee and the shoulder, wanting to create even more of an opening through that diagonal stretch. Now you can play with movement of the right arm, so you can bring it down towards your hip, or you can bring it up towards your head. Find the position that gives you the optimal stretch through the front of your shoulder. And play, maybe pray, that shoulder can drop down even farther. So breathe into it, opening up, letting the surrender happen with the breath. Okay, now we're going to draw the knee up. So knee up, rolling back onto the back. Hug that knee to the chest so you really feel like your lower back is evening itself out. And then we're going to switch legs. So drawing left knee to the chest, extending the right leg down. Hold it there, breathe and just feel that compression, that nice stretch through your lower back and hips. And then draw the knee across. So drawing the knee across, really getting that nice stretch through the back and the side, all the way through and out into the left arm. Now again, using the other hand to support and even press that knee down into the floor, creating even more of a dynamic stretch for yourself. And then reaching up or reaching down to be able to find that position for your left arm to really have the optimal stretch through the front of that shoulder and pectoralis. That feels like the best place for the deepest stretch for me. And then just breathe into it. Or like I said before, either play or pray into the stretch here. into it. And then draw the knee back up to the chest. As you draw the knee up to the chest, drop both knees up to the chest. And then just gently rock from side to side. So now we're going to move into Shavasana from here. And so that means that you might want to find your supports, meaning you may want to use a ball or blankets or roller, whatever it is that is your support for Shavasana. Eye pillow, okay? We're going to do a couple of things with that, both the Kapalabhati breath as well as the Palmar, calmer mask breath. Okay, so go ahead and let yourself assume your Shavasana position. With Shavasana, we want to access the quality that is, I'm going to come this way. I don't have a hair band to get in the way. Right. With Shavasana, what we want is to have the optimal position for letting go, whatever that means. So extend through the legs and then just let the pelvis open. Let the legs turn out slightly. Extend through the spine so that you're able to let the shoulder blades drop back and down under you so that the shoulders can open, the chest can open, and the arms then will naturally open so the palms are resting upward into a position of receptivity. Extend through the back of the neck so you feel that elongation through the back of the neck. And then let yourself progressively move through the body with awareness, surrendering into the earth. Starting with the feet, let the feet relax, ankles relaxing. Let the lower legs into the knees, relax. Let the thighs, the sides, the hips, the inner thighs relax. Belly, lower back, relaxing. Breathe into the sides of the ribs and into the back of the ribs and into the front of the ribs. And letting go. Shoulders relaxing, arms relaxing all the way down through the palms and fingertips relaxing. And then let your neck, your throat, your jaw, all the muscles of the face and through the scalp relax until your whole body can let go. Breathing. And then bring your hands, especially if your hands have that essential oil still on them maybe, bring your hands onto your face. Just gently placing your palms onto your face. And finding the space to breathe into, through and around the palms, but also feel how the palms are there to bless you, to support you. That the palms are there to calm you, to heal you, to help you. As if you're giving yourself a light
and sunshine blessing through your hands to yourself. Now during this time, this new moon, coupled with the solstice, coupled with the eclipse, and coupled with all that's going on in the world, calming yourself. Palms on the face, calming yourself and letting yourself feel that connection to your own inner sunshine. Connection to your own inner power and divine masculine. The energy of that yang or yang energy. And feel that sense of that power, dynamic, expressive, sunshine self being harnessed from and through your heart into your arms, through your hands, and into a blessing for your face. Feeling that sense of the yin meeting this yang energy. The softening, containing, receptive willingness to be willful, with the quality of the fierceness and skillfulness of the sage self. And now from this place, let's chant the sound of Om together. Just a gentle, even through the palms of the hands, Om. Feeling the vibration of your own sound through your hands, through your face, through your throat. Oming together. Om. Let the sound resonate even more for you. Om. Last time. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Just feeling that in your body, the light, the brightness, calm and steady, focused and fierce as we enter into the solstice, the longest day of the year together. So you may want to roll to your side, or if you want to stay in Shavasana, you can do so. But roll, those who want to get up, roll to your side, come back up, bringing hands to Namaste, position again. And then letting yourself feel the difference in your body now. Yeah, just notice, how does it feel to be here now? All right. Have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you this way next week.